Hi everybody, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. Please help me out by pressing the thumbs up button, subscribing, sharing. I appreciate all the dialogue and I appreciate all the comments. Thank you everyone for your support over the years. It is greatly appreciated. Finally, just as I expected, I got somebody who sent an email out to me, asked me about AB 1244, and laid down some circumstances and wanted my honest opinion on whether he should start his security company. And he had some questions on when AB 1244 becomes effective and kind of sort of what does AB 1244 cover. If you want to start a security company ever in your life, if you ever had that idea, you're going to want to turn in your application tomorrow. Actually, you should have turned it in last week, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So by me addressing this subscriber personally, I am addressing a lot of questions that are going to be asked pretty soon. So if you receive this video, there's a good chance that maybe you emailed me, you called me, you reached out to me, and this is the best way that I can communicate your answer to you other than doing this back and forth on a text message or typing a response. So this subscriber, he wants to know basically when is AB 1244 effective. Let's first talk about what that is. So AB 1244 is an assembly bill that was authored by Christopher Holden and that it was approved by Governor Gavin Newsom sometime in October. What this law basically says is that you need 2 years of private security experience or a related field. This can be law enforcement, this can be private security, basically anything that is associated. In addition to that, you need to have 1 year experience in an administrative or a managerial role under a current and licensed private patrol operator. This eliminates probably like 90% at least of my customers. The question is, when is this law effective? Well, I kept talking about this like a whole year and a half. January 1st of 2024, it's law. This is the law, and various components of that bill are effective January 1st of 2025. Currently, if you were to look up the Business Professions Code section that attaches itself to AB 1244. Give me some time. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And in the description box below, I'll have links to other information that might interest you. So that Business Profession Code basically says what I just told you. In order to be qualified as a qualified manager for private security, to own your security company or to run a security company, to run a security company, not to own. So what I mean by that, without confusing you guys a little bit more, is every single security company needs to be properly managed by a private patrol operator qualified manager. The panic, so to speak, right now is just for those who need to be qualified managers. And that's almost everybody that's watching this video. That's what the whole panic is about. And I'm going to reiterate one more time, to be a qualified manager, to qualify, you need at least 1 year of private security guard experience or in some other closely related field where you were able to exercise similar duties, something along those lines. In the description box below, I will copy and paste what the actual labor code says. In addition to that, you need 1 year of administrative or managerial experience under a private patrol operator. That private patrol operator is basically a license. A private patrol operator is a fancy name for private security company. So you need 1 year of administrative or managerial experience under that company. Once again, most people watching this don't fall into those categories. They're not administrative or they're not managerial. Okay. Now, if you have that experience, the question is, should I apply right now? So if you were to go to the BSIS website, download the application still allows the former requirements, which is just 1 year of experience as a private security guard or something in a closely related field. It's very loose, and that's all you need, that 1 year experience. Now, when does it change? So basically, my understanding of the law is that the OAL, the Office of Administrative Law, reviews these new laws, these assembly bills, these new business professions code. They need to review it. And what they do is they'll review it to see if this is something that's constitutionally acceptable. They might lay down some of the guidelines that the BSIS has to follow. But that's their extent. And once they approve that actual legislation, now the BSIS has to implement it in their own policy. So in plain English, what that would mean is once the OAL accepts the language and they notify BSIS on their application will include the new requirements. And when will this happen? It looks like every November, October, November, of all of these assembly bills, usually the OAL will accept the language. Now, there's always a possibility that they might accept the language tomorrow. But quite honestly, the OAL has a lot of work to do. They don't just service the BSIS. So once again, this can happen tomorrow. It can happen the next day. Now, the question is, should I apply for a PPO right now? Because in the middle, they could just change the requirements all of a sudden. That is a gamble that you have to take. I will tell you that once you start asking BSIS clarification on things, on some of the gray areas, I've seen them turn things around. So, for example, with the firearm permit, some people were able to put 300 black on there, 5.56, and other calibers that are not too commonly used in the security industry. Upon finding that, the BSIS would actually notify the permit holder and tell them, hey, basically, thank you for letting us know. Now we're excluding those calibers from your permit. Other occasions, I've seen honest security officers, management, fill out a use of force form, and then later on, that use of force form that information on there is used against them in criminal court. So be mindful on what you communicate to BSIS. But I do think that it's a good idea. On the flip side, it's a good idea to at least ask them, because I don't work for BSIS. I don't represent them at all. So I think it's good to have something in writing. Like, you might want to ask, what are the requirements to be a private patrol operator qualified manager? They might send you to a link of their website. If their link on the website lands on this page that just involves 1 year of private security guard experience, then what I want you to do is screenshot that page and save it later. What could potentially happen is during the application process, and you're already forking out a lot of money, like almost $600 for the qualified manager exam, and then it's like $800-ish for the actual private patrol operator application, and then you have all your license fees. It's possible you could fork out all of these fees, and then all of a sudden, last minute, you're not qualified. We're collecting all of your fees. So you're out like over $1,500, whatever it is. Those of you who start a corporation, you could be out that money too. That's possible. I've seen BSIS approve LLCs for private patrol operators and also for training facilities. And then later on, they basically say that there's a mistake. So a lot of people would ask them, can I open a training facility or a PPO under an LLC? And they would say no. And then you would say, well, by the way, these companies they've already started their LLC. Or you could say, hey, my friend Jack Joe started an LLC and you guys approved it. Then they go back and hit up your friend Jack or Joe, whatever that person's name is. And then they would basically revoke that license. I've seen that happen, you guys. Okay. The other question is, should I enroll in your 40-hour private patrol operator course? Right now, the fee is like $500. It's very possible that you can enroll in my course and then later on BSIS change the requirements, and those requirements do not reflect your background. So now all of a sudden you don't qualify. So now you're not only going to be out like $1,500 or $1,400 for applying for your PPO license, but you're also going to be out the money for my course, because I think there's like a 14-day test period or something like that. You're also going to be out for that course. My course and I'll leave it in the description box below. That prepares you to be a private patrol operator. I provide forms. I provide tips on starting your security company. My goal in that course is so that after you're done with the class, the 40-hour class, you're able to operate your security company. Just, there's a little bit more work to do. I have all the forms. I have job applications for you guys. I have sample contracts, templates of all sorts. If you want to have a modified work schedule where you want your guys to work 4 10-hour shifts instead of 5 8-hour days, I even have the proper form and the voting materials for that. So I take a lot of that work away. But it's very possible that you spend all your money and your time on my course, and all of a sudden they change around and say, oh, we're not going to accept your application. So not only are you out $1,500, you're also out another $500. And come January 1st of 2025, my course fee is well, actually, I'm not going to change it because I keep my word. January 1st of 2025, my course fee is jumping like 300%, close to maybe $2,000. And why do I have to do that? Well, now basically, I want to say my clientele is now the larger private corporations. Like if I want to stay in business, that's the new clientele. And I've been telling you guys over the last year and a half, get your security company. But a lot of people don't do that. So my advice to our loyal subscriber here that asked me a question through email is whatever you do, you're taking a risk. I personally would take that risk with my class, my 40-hour class. You're not going to complete you can't just say, I'm going to put 1 week aside and it's going to be done in 40 hours, because nobody does that. It takes on average 3 months on a part-time basis to complete the course. And also our subscriber want to know if he should quit his job in order to start learning my course, in order to spend time on my course, learn the materials, and prepare himself. Absolutely not. Do not quit your job to learn my course. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Okay? Guys, CALSAGA, CALSAGA, CALSAGA is the union or the organization that pushed forward Assembly Bill 1244. And in my honest opinion, this was a bill that was pushed by Allied Universal. Allied Universal wants this to happen to eliminate some of the competition. Once again, this is just my personal beliefs. This may not necessarily be facts. Make sure that you guys do your own research. But we fought head to toe as much as we can. 10 of us through the telephone, through in person. We went to the Legislative Appropriations Committee and argued against this bill, and 2 state senators actually agreed with us. This is something that we tried our hardest to fight, and I think we did a great job fighting it, being grassroots, not really being organized. But now is the day. Actually, January 1st was the day that AB 1244 is now law. So take your gamble. I don't have a private security company right now. I closed it for reasons that I made a video about it. But I want to be able to advertise myself just in case, kind of like a second career path, just in case I have issues with my primary career or I'm done with it, I can skip to another one. This is my only gateway to that. So I'm going to go through the process. I understand by applying, I can lose a lot of money. Obviously, I'm not going to lose money in my own course. I don't need to take my own course, but I have the potential to lose $1,500 or more. I think it's worth the risk, because my other route is I'm going to have to work for a company for 1 year and be in an, I'm sorry, guys. It's 2 years. It's 2 years in administrative or managerial role, and then it was 1 year of private security experience. So I'm going to have to quit my full-time career, my full-time job. I've been at this for 21 plus years in order to work somewhere for 2 years to just qualify for my qualified manager license for a PPO. It almost doesn't make sense to have to do that. That's why I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to have to just start my own security company. Okay, whether I get contracts or not, that's not my concern right now, but I need to get it started. And I hopefully a lot of you also consider these these factors. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know in the description box below. The comment section box below. The fastest way of getting a response is by just shooting out a comment, because everybody else can read the comment. If I have to take time individually replying to emails, sometimes it takes me 2 months or a month. So that's all I got, guys. Okay. Looking forward to feedback and dialogue. Take care, guys. We're out. Look at the description box.